Hello, future listeners, subscribers, viewers, and students. Here is the series of problems in Algebra 3 as example problems with solutions. So there are 25 problems here because this part is lengthy. So compute the value of the variance of the following sets of numbers. So take note that the variance is equal to the sum of the mean of squared deviation given by summation of quantity any entry minus the mean or average of the entries quantity square over n from I equals 1 to n. So I'll present the solution in using this formula. Then we'll have the calculator technique as an alternate way. So mu or barred x, the average, is simply the sum of this data entries divided by number of entries, which is 5. So that's why you have 12.56 here. So substitute into this formula. So we have summation of 13. You can also use your calculator, the summation notation. Then we have alpha x minus 12.56 squared divided by n, which is 5. Then I hope that you will get the same answer. So using these calculations, we have summation of quantity 13.4 minus 12.56 square plus 10.25 minus 12.56 quantity square plus 12.65 minus 12.56 quantity square plus 11 quantity 11.28 minus 12.56 quantity square plus quantity 15.22 minus 12.56 square, then close, divide by 5, and you will get 2.953 as the variance. As an alternate solution using this calculator technique, set your calculator in the statistics mode 3, then press 1, then for the data set x, input this data set. So for example, 13.4 equals 10.25 equals until the fifth entry, which is 15.25 equals. Then press the AC key, then press the shift key, select 1, then 4 for variation, shift 1 means statistics mode, 4 for this option, then 3 to see this standard deviation sigma x, then equals. Then from there you will get the standard deviation. Then since the variance is the square of the standard deviation, press x square key, then you will get, then press equals, you will get the same answer of 2.953. Then for the next problem, if a letter is chosen at random from the English alphabet, find the probability that the letter 2.1 is a vowel exclusive of Y. So this is just to confuse you because a vowel consists of 5 letters: A, E, I, O, and U. Y is not part of the vowel, so it's just part of the question to confuse you, but there are still 5 uh, letters in a vowel. Then all in all 26 letters in the English alphabet, so 5 vowels out of 26 is 5 over 26. For 2.2 is listed somewhere ahead of letter J. These letters are from A to I. Then J is the 10th letter in the English alphabet. So there are 9 letters ahead of letter J. So we have 9 over 26. Then 2.3 is listed somewhere after letter G. Letter G is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So the 7th letter in the English alphabet. Therefore, there are uh, 26 minus 7 or 19 letters beyond letter G or after letter G. So that's why the probability is 19 over 26. Problem 3, if each coded item in a catalog begins with 3 distinct different letters followed by 4 distinct non-zero digits, find the probability of randomly selecting one of these coded items with the first letter a vowel and the last digit even. So for the solution, we draw 3 bars, unknown bars in the first part, and on the second, this this should be represented by the 3 letters. Then this would be represented by the 4 non-zero digits. 4 non-zero digits. So we have to fill in this first. This should be a vowel, and there are 5 letters in the as vowels. Then for the number, this should be the first to be uh, filled up, and it should be 4 because from 1 to 9, non-zero digits, 1 to 9, there are 9 numbers. And in these 9 numbers, there are only 4 even digits, 2, 4, 6, and 8. But there is only one way to assign a digit here, which from the 4 even digits. So there's only one. So after placing one digit, which is surely an even number, there will be 8 numbers from 1 to 9 left. So we can now fill in this with 8 numbers remaining out of 9. Then after placing a digit here, 7 digits left. So this may be any number because this is surely an even number. So after there are 7 ways to assign a digit here. Then after assigning a digit here, 1, there will be 6 digits left. So that would be the number of ways of assigning digits here to make sure that the last digit is an even digit so that it is an even number. Then for these first 3 letters here, this should be the blank first to be filled in, and there are 5 vowels, so there are 5 ways to assign a vowel here, but we only assign one vowel. So after assigning a letter here, which is surely a vowel, and there are 5 ways, there will be 25 letters left here, then 24 letters left here. Since there are the total number of outcomes is for the letters, there are 26 letters arranged 3 at a time, and this is permutations because for the first blank 26, then 25, then 24, that's 26p3. For the second part, it's like arranging 9 different digits taken 4 at a time because we have 4 uh, digits here. So this is the total number of outcome. So simplifying that, that's 10 over 117. Then for problem 4, 2 cards are drawn in succession from a deck without replacement. So what is the probability that both cards are greater than 2 but less than 8? So if the card is greater than 2 but less than 8, this card should be 3 up to 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 5 cards between 2 and 8, and in each card there are 4 suits. So therefore, 5 cards between 2 and 8 times 4 suits, so there will be 20 cards, different cards between 2 and 8 and between 2 and 8. So there are 20 cards, 3 heart, diamond, club, and colt. So it's here. Substitute. So it should be probability that both cards are greater than 2. So for the first pick, there are 20 possibilities from here, 20 out of 52. And for the second card, there will be 19 cards between 2 and 8, so out of 51, of course. Then simplifying, that is 95 over 663. So problem 5, according to a study conducted by a certain company, the probable location of personal computers in the home is as follows. So we have adult bedroom 0.03, child bedroom 0.15, other bedroom 0.14, office or den 0.4, other rooms 0.28. So 5.1, what is the probability that a PC is in a bedroom? What is the probability that it is not in the bedroom? And suppose a household is selected at random from households with a PC. In what room would you expect to find a PC? So for 5.1, the probability that a PC is in the bedroom is the sum of these probabilities. So these are the probabilities that the PC will be found in the bedrooms. So 0.03 plus 0.15 plus 0.14, and that is 0.32 or 8 over 25. The probability that it is not in the bedroom is 1 minus the probability that it is in the bedroom. So 1 minus 0.32 is 0.68. Then suppose a household is selected at random from households with a PC. In what room would you expect to find a PC? So we expect that a PC is found in a place where the probability is highest, and that is the highest probability here is 0.4. So we expect that a random household inspected will have a PC in this office or den. Problem 6, a random sample of 200 adults are classified below by sex and their level of education attained. So we have here education, male, female, elementary, secondary, college. If a person is picked at random from this group, find the probability that 6.1, the person is a male, given that the person has a secondary education. So the person is a male with secondary education. There are 28 males with secondary education out of quantity 28 plus 50. So 28 over 28 plus 50 is 14 over 39. 6.2, the person does not have a college degree, given that the person is a female. So it does not have a college degree and it is a female, and the person should either be elementary or secondary students. So we have 45 plus 50. Then since this is the population under the female group, so the total female is 45 plus 50 plus 17. So 45 plus 50 over quantity 45 plus 50 plus 17 is 95 over 112. Then 6.2, The person does not have a college degree. Uh, that's the solution, by the way. Proceed to problem 7. In the senior year of a high school graduating class of 100 students, 42 studied mathematics, 68 studied psychology, 54 studied history, 22 studied both mathematics and history, 25 studied both mathematics and psychology, 7 studied history but neither mathematics nor psychology, 10 studied all the 3 subjects, and 8 did not take any of the 3. If a student is selected at random, find the probability that a person enrolled in psychology takes all the 3 subjects. So the solution to this needs this Venn diagram here to analyze, and these different subjects represented by mathematics, psychology, and history will overlap because we start filling in this space common to all these subjects, and it is mentioned here that 10 studied all the 3 subjects. That's why we put 10 there. Then we should proceed with uh, space common to 2. By the way, we have here 8 did not take any of the 3 subjects. These are the areas common to all the 3, or students taking at least one subject, so 8 should be placed outside. And the sum of these numbers here is, of course, 100. So we proceed. 7 studied history, but neither mathematics nor psychology. So meaning to say, there are 7 exclusive history students. So that's why we put it here, which is not here because this is the number of students who took history only. Then 25 studied both mathematics and psychology. Mathematics and psychology, 25. This is the space common to the 2 subjects. 10, we already put 10 here. So 25 minus 10 is 15. So purely there are only 15 students who took math and psychology. The other 10 took history also. Then 22 studied both mathematics and history. Mathematics and history, 22. We already 22. So this is the space common to mathematics and history. There are already 10 students filled in here, taking all the 3 subjects. So to make it 22, we have 12 students taking mathematics and history alone. Both mathematics and history. So 22 minus 10 is 12. Then 54 studied history. The number here should be 54. We already filled in 10, 12, and 7. 10 plus 12 is 22 plus 7, 29. So 54 minus 29. So we should put 25 here. Then 68 studied psychology for this space here. 68. We already filled in these spaces. 15 plus 10, 25 plus 25, that's 50. So 68 minus 50, so we have 18 exclusive psychology students. Then finally, 42 studied mathematics. So 42, we already filled this in. 22 plus 15, that's 37. 42 minus 37 is 5. So to answer the first question, if a person, find the probability that a person enrolled in psychology takes all the 3 subjects. So number of students taking all the 3 subjects is 10, and the total number of psychology students is 68. So 10 over 68 is 5 over 34. Then for 7.2, a person not taking psychology is taking both history and mathematics. History and mathematics. So it's 12, and the total population here, including this, not taking uh, history and mathematics, because this 8 here do not take all the 3 subjects, including mathematics and history. So the total population should be this part. So a person not taking psychology is taking both history and mathematics. So for the numerator, it's 12 common to math and history, and the total population is 5 plus 12 plus 7 plus 8, and that is 3 over 8. Problem 8. The probability that a married man watches a certain television show is 0.4, and the probability that a married woman watches the show is 0.5. The probability that a man watches the show given that his wife does is 0.7. Find the probability that 8.1, a married couple watches the show. A wife watches the show given that her husband does. Then at least one person of a married couple will watch the show. So for 8.1, the probability that a married couple watches the show is equal to, if this is the first probability that a man watches the television show, times the probability that a wife, this is the man, married man, that his wife also watches given that the man watches. Or it is the probability that a woman watches the show times the probability that a man watches given that the woman does. So either of this case, but since this is the formula where everything is given, probability that the woman watches the show is 0.5, and probability that the man watches given that the woman does, the probability the man watches the show given that his wife does is 0.7. So 0.5 times 0.7 is 0.35. So that's the probability that a married couple watches the television, the show in the television. Then for the second part, a wife watches the show given that her husband does. So we use this equation here, and this is already given 0.35. So probability that the married man watches the show is 0.4, even here. And it is only this that is not given. The probability that the woman also watches the show, or the wife also watches the show, given that the married man or her husband watches. So 0.35 divided by 0.4 is 0.875. And that's lastly, at least one person of a married couple will watch the show. So this should be the situation. Probability that at least one of them will watch the show is equal to the probability that the man watches times the probability that the woman will not watch given that the man watches. And this is simply equal to 1 minus this probability here, plus the probability that the woman watches times the probability that the man will not watch the show given that the wife watches, and plus the probability that both of them will watch the show, because the question is at least a wife, at least one person of a married couple will watch the show. So if both of them will watch the show, so that also satisfies the condition, and this is already given, so 0.35. So for this case, probability that the man watches the show is 0.4, and the probability that the wife will not watch the show given that the married man watches is 1 minus this probability, the probability that the woman watches the show given that the man watches 1 minus 0.875 plus probability that the woman will watch the show is 0.5, then quantity 1 minus the probability that the man will not watch the show given that the wife does is 1 minus 0.7 as given here, then plus 0.35, so it is 0.55. Problem 9, the probability that a vehicle entering NLEX has NCR license plates is 0.12. The probability that it is a camper is 0.28. And the probability that it is a camper with NCR license plates is 0.09. So what is the probability that a camper entering the NLEX has NCR license plate? So since the probability that the vehicle entering the NLEX is given, if it is a camper, it is 0.09. Camper as NCR license plate is 0.09. Then the probability that it is a camper is 0.28. So 0.09 divided by 0.28 is 9 over 28. 9.2, a vehicle with NCR license plates entering the NLEX is a camper. So it is probability that the vehicle has a license or it is a camper. So it is probability that it is a camper, license or camper, then plus because this is plus the or, and this is equal to probability that it is a camper times the probability that it has, the vehicle has license plates given that it is a camper. So the probability that the vehicle entering the NLEX has license plate or it is a camper is 0.12 plus 0.09. 0.12 as mentioned here, the probability that a vehicle entering NLEX has NCR license plates is 0.12. If it is a camper with license plates is 0.09. Then equals the probability that it is a camper is 0.28 times the probability that it has license plates given that it is a camper is 0.12 plus 0.09, 0.21 divided by 0.28 is 3/4. Then finally, a vehicle entering NLEX does not have NCR plates or it is not a camper. So it is 1 minus not a camper without license plates. This is the probability that the vehicle is both a camper with license plates. So therefore, it is 1 minus 0.09, 0.91. Problem 10 is about normal curve approximation, and sorry that I wasn't able to set up this formula, but there are other problems here about normal distribution, so you can use these formulas. Now, evaluate the probability that 1 is less than equal to x less than equal to 4, but the normal distribution approach here, by this is binomial variable, is that we consider in finding the z-score, we should begin 0.5 to the left of this, then 0.5 to the right of this 4 here, 0.1 to the left, 0.5 to the left of 1, and 0.5 to the right of 4. Now the mean value is equal to the number of cases or population 15, then times the probability, which is 0.2. So 15 times 0.2 is 3. Then the standard deviation is approximated by the formula NPQ, where Q is the probability of failure. This is equal to 1 minus the probability of success, or 1 minus P. So 15 times 0.2, so 1 minus 0.2 is 0.8, of course, and that is 1.5492. So remember, z-score is any value entry or data in the set minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. So as I said, for approximation, we consider to the left of 1.5 to the left of 1 and 0.5 to the right of this boundary here, 4. So for to the left, z1 is 0.5 minus the mean, which is 3, divided by standard deviation, and that is negative 1.6137. For the upper z-score, for the right z-score, z2, 4 plus 0.5, 4.5 minus 3 over 1.5492, 0.96824. So the probability that 1 is less than equal to x, less than equal to 4, is the value area under the normal curve. Remember this, q sub negative 1.6137, then plus q times 0.96824, and that is 0.78024. Another way is to use the formula by integration 1 over square root of 2 pi integral from z1 to z2 of e to the negative 0.5 z squared dz. So using your calculator there, we obtain the same value. Then another one by approximation. So we use this binomial distribution. Remember, probability in repeated trials binomial. So we have NCR, or in this case NCX, NCR, then quantity probability of failure F raised to n minus R, n minus X in this case, times probability of success P.2 raised to X or raised to R, and sum from 1 to 4. And evaluating that using your calculator, that's about 0.8006. Just approximate, because this is binomial variable, but binomial distribution using the normal curve approximation. So, to continue, problem 11, another problem on normal approximation. The probability that the patient recovers from a delicate heart operation is 0.9. Of the next 100 patients having this operation, what is the probability that between 84 and 95 inclusive survive? Then 11.2 fewer than 86 survive. So for the mean, it is n times p, 100 times 0.9, so 90. And remember, standard deviation in square root of npq, where q is 1 minus p, 1 minus 0.9. So 100 times 0.9 times 0.1, that's 3. Then the first z-score, remember that we have to consider 0.5 to the left of this value, 84 minus 0.5, 83.5 minus the mean, 90 over 3. That's negative 13 over 6. Z2 is to the right of 95, 95.5 minus 90 over 3, 11 over 6. Then probability, or the area under the normal distribution curve between 84 and 95 is q sub negative 13 over 6 plus q times q sub 11 over 6, and that is 0.9515. Then 11.2 fewer than 86 survive. Probability that it is fewer than 86 survive, it is represented by this area here, and left 0.5 to the left of 86.5 is 85.5 minus 90 divided by standard deviation of 3, So we get negative 1.5 as the z-score. So probability that it is less than 86 is the area here, which is 0.5, because the half of the area is 0.5, then this is represented by q times negative 1.5. So it should be 0.5 minus q sub negative 1.5. And using your calculator, it is 0.06681. Problem 12, given a standard normal distribution, find the area or the probability under the curve which lies 12.1 to the left of z equals 1.43. So this is 1.43, and we are computing for the area to the left of this value. So since this is already 0.5, it is 0.5 plus q of 1.43. And of course, you have to set your calculator in the statistics mode, and you will get 0.9236. For 12.2, to the right of z equals negative 0.89, this is q of negative 0.29, so we must include this because we are computing the area to the right of this, so that's the whole area. So it is q of negative 0.89 plus 0.5, and that is 0.8133. Between z equals negative 2.16 and z equals negative 0.65, so this is z negative 2.16, z negative 0.65, and we are required to compute for this area, shaded area here. So this is q of negative 2.16 minus this area, which is q of negative 0.65, and that is 0.2425. 12.4 to the left of negative 1.39. So to the left of negative 1.39, somewhere here. So it is represented by this area here. You just imagine this is shaded. And q of negative 1.49 is this area up to the mean. So therefore, the area to the left of z equals negative 1.39 would be 0.5 minus q of negative 1.39. So 0.5 minus q of negative 1.39, that's 0.0823. Then 12.5 to the right of 1.96. So this is z-score of 1.96. We are referring to this area here. But this area here is q of 1.96. Since half the area is 0.5, it should be 0.5 minus q of 1.96, and that is 0.025. Then finally, 12.6, between z equals negative 0.48, which is this, and z equals 1.74, this is q of negative 0.48, this is q of 1.74. So using your calculator, q of negative 0.48 plus q of 1.74, it is 0.6435. Or I have here a solution by integration. So p equals 1 over square root of 2 pi. If you can recall, integral from negative 0.48 to 1.74 of e to the negative 0.5 z squared dz. So using your calculator, we obtain the same value of 0.6435. Problem 13. A research scientist reports that mice will live an average of 40 months when their diets are sharply restricted and then enriched with vitamins and proteins. Assuming that the lifetimes of such mice are normally distributed with a standard deviation of 6.3 months, find the probability that a given mouse will live more than 32 months, less than 28 months, and between 37 and 49 months. So using the first by integration, then the rest by the calculator. So p that x is greater than 32 is 1 over square root of 2 pi standard deviation 6.3. Integral from 32 to 32 months. So infinity is, I just describe it or replace it by 10,000 months. That represents infinity. Remember, in the normal distribution, as the time is increased, the area there is very negligible. So that's the reason. You can use maybe 5,000 if you want. Then e to the negative 0.5 of, remember the z-score is x, in terms of x minus 40 over 6 over standard deviation quantity square dx. So using your calculator there, you will get 0.8979. Then if you use the calculator, the corresponding z-score is 32 minus 40 over 6.3. That's negative 1.2698, represented by this shaded area here, because it is mentioned more than 32 months. So it is Q of negative 1.2698 plus 0.5, because this is 0.5. We get the same value of 0.8979. 13.2, the mice will live less than 28 months. So it's the area supposedly represented here, but before that, let's compute the corresponding z-score. 28 minus 40 over 6.3, and that's negative 1.9048. That area there is 0.5 minus q of z. So probability that x is less than 28 months is 0.5 minus q of negative 1.9048, and that's 0.2840. Then 13.3 between 37 and 49 months. So let's compute the corresponding z-score. 37 minus 40 over 6.3 is negative 0.4762, while 49 minus 40 over 6.3 is 1.4286. And probability that the mice will live between these months is q of negative 0.4762 plus q of 1.4286, and that's 0.6065. Then problem 14, statistics released by the CTTMO show that on an average weekend, 1 out of 10 drivers on the road is drunk. If 400 drivers are randomly checked next Saturday night, what is the probability that the number of drunk drivers will be less than 32, more than 49, at least 35, but less than 47? So first, let's have the approximate normal distribution, approximate formula. Probability is that the driver is drunk is 1 over 10.5. So the probability that the driver is not drunk is 1 minus 0.1, so 0.9. So n is 0.1 times 400, and that is 40. This is mu. So 40. Then we have square root of npq or npf as standard deviation, approximate standard deviation. So it is 6. And 14.1 less than 32. So 0.5 to the left of 32 is 31.5, minus the mean, which is 40, over standard deviation 6, we get negative 1.42. So probability that 32, that the number of drivers considered drunk to be less than 32 is that area, same as this area here supposedly is 0.5 minus q of negative 1.42, and that's 0.0778. For 14.2, more than 49, then to the right of 49.5, to the right of 49 is 49.5 minus 40 over 6, 1.58. So to the right of 49 is, if this is 1.49, this area here, so that's 0.5 minus q of 1.58. So 0.5 minus q of 1.58 is 0.05705. And finally, at least 35 but less than 47. Corresponding z-scores, 30.5 to the left is 34.5 minus 40 over 6, negative 0.9167. To the right of 47.5 to the right of 47, 47.5 minus 40 over 6, 1.25. So probability that 35 between 35 and 47 drivers are drunk is Q of negative 0.9167 plus Q of 1.25, and that is 0.715. Problem 18. Compute the value of the variance of the following sets of numbers 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 18. So I hope that you can compute the variance manually using the formula. Summation of from I to n of quantity x minus the mean quantity square over n. But I use the Caltech here, calculator technique. So statistics mode 3, then press AC, then press shift key, then 1 for, then input, then after 1, 2, then you have to input data for x, all these 6 values, then press AC, press shift key again, then select 1, then select 1, then 4 for this options, then press 3 to appears we have standard deviation, then press equals to get the answer. Then that standard deviation should be squared, and that's the variance. So the variance should be 10.81. Problem 16. Roll a pair of dice. What is the probability of obtaining a sum of at most 4? So meaning to say sum should be at most 4 less than equal to 4. Then remember that a die is marked on its faces. There are 6 faces, 1 to 6. So the smallest sum for the 2 dice would be 2. So plus 3 plus 4, the sum should be at most 4. And this 2 here is represented by, for the first die 1, second die 1. This 3 here for the first die 1, second die 2, or first die 2, second die 1. For this 4 here, first die 1 should face up 1, then the second die should face up 3, or first die should face up 3, then second 1, or 2, 2. The first die is 2, second die is 2. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 favorable outcomes that the sum will be at most 4. And the total number of outcomes for the first die, it can face up in 6 ways. The second die can also face up in 6 ways. So both dice can face up in 6 times 6 ways. So simplifying, that's 1 over 6. 17. The probability that a family owns a washing machine is 0.78, and the probability that it owns a VCR is 0.75. The probability that it owns both a washing machine and a VCR is 0.58. What is the probability that a randomly selected family owns a washing machine or a VCR? This is probability of compound events with common outcomes duplicated. So remember, probability of that a family owns a washing machine or VCR is formula probability that the family owns washing machine plus VCR minus the probability, the common outcome, washing machine and VCR. So these are all given, 0.78 plus 0.71, then minus 0.88, that's 0.910. 18. A store has 3 kinds of toys given in every, this came out in the board exam, CE board exam, November 2007. A store has 3 kinds of toys given in every purchase. What is the probability of getting all 3 toys in 5 purchases? So these are the possibilities. Assuming the toys are toys A, B, and C. So for the 3 to be in your hand, there should be 3 same toys, then the other toys should be unique, B and C. And there are 3 cases for this case because it may also be toy, the 3 identical toys could be B or C. That's why there are 3 cases. Or for the 3 toys to be on your hand, there should be 2 toy A, toy A, 2 toy B, and 1 toy C. And there are again 3 cases here, uh, and they are represented by these cases here. So that's it. You can have the 3 different toys by these situations. So remember that for the case probability, the number of favorable outcomes, there are 3 cases here, and the number of ways to arrange this case is number of items 5 factorial divided by number of identical objects of the first kind 3 factorial from permutations case, then plus another 3 cases, and for this arrangement with 2 identical coils of the first kind, 2 identical objects of the second kind, it is 5 factorial, 5 objects factorial, divided by 2 factorial, identical objects of the first kind, and another identical objects of a second kind, 2 also. Of course, the third one is 1, that's still 1. And that is 3 times 20 plus 3 times 30 over, of course, the total number of ways would be for the first purchase, there are 3 possibilities. It may be toy A, toy B, toy C. Then 3 in the second, 3 in the third, 3 in the fourth, 3 in the fifth. So that's 3 to the 5, and that is 243. So it is 50 over 81. Problem 19. One bag contains 4 white balls and 3 black balls, and a second bag contains 3 white balls and 5 black balls. One ball is drawn at random from the second bag and is placed unseen in the first bag. What is the probability that a ball now drawn is white, then black, then letter B, black? So if it is white, this would be the formula. White, then in the second draw, it's also white. Then plus probability that the ball selected from the first bag is black, and of course it is a must that in the second bag it should be white. So for this case, probability that it is white, there are 3 white balls out of 8, so 3 over 8. Then because it is white, the total number of balls in the first bag would be 8, and it is white, so 5 white balls out of 8, so times 5 over 8, plus the second possibility, if it is black ball in the second bag, then white in the first bag, so there are 5 black balls out of 8, then times, so add black ball here, there will be 4 white balls, 4 black balls, so 4 white balls out of 8, adding 35 over 64. Then both black, so this is the possibility. If it is white in the first selection or drawing in the second bag, then black, it should be black in the second. Then the other possibility, it is black ball drawn in the second bag, then it is a must that it should be black in the first bag because of this condition, black. So if it is white, 3 out of 8, then times quantity black, it's still 3, then out of 8. then plus if it is black in the first, from the first bag, 5 out of 8, then black in the second, 3 plus 1, so 4 out of 8. So computing, it is 29 over 64. So problem 20, a manufacturer estimates that 1.5% of his output of a small item is defective. Find the probability that in a pack of 200 items, none is defective. 2 are defective and more than 3 are defective. So this is probability, binomial probability. So the probability is given by NCR, probability of failure raised to n minus r, success raised to r. Probability of success, the success experiment is 0.015, that it is defective. If it is not defective, it is a failure by this problem here. 1 minus 0.015, 0.985. So if none is defective, defective is 0, so it is non-defective, so 0.985. And since there are 200 items, so you must raise that to 200. 0.985 times 0.985 times 0.985, and so on until the 200.985, and that is 0.04867. If you use the formula, 200 combination 0 times failure 0.985 raised to 200 minus 0, so that's still 200, times 0.015 raised to 0, that's 1. This is also 1, so 0.985 to the 200 is the same. Then if there are exactly two defective items, substitute 200 combination 2, failure 0.985 raised to 200 minus 2, so 198. Then success 0.015 raised to 2, and that's 0.2246. And finally, more than 3 are defective items. So probability that the number of defective items is greater or equal to 3. So 3, 4 at 200. But there are so many terms for that case. So we should use the reversed. The total probability is 1. So 1 minus the probability that there is no, or the defective item is 0, minus the probability that the number of defective items is exactly 1, minus the probability that the number of defective items is exactly 2, minus the probability of defective items that it is exactly 3. We already calculated 0 defective items, probability of exactly 2 defective items. So we'll just compute probability of exactly 1 defective item and exactly 3 defective item. For exactly 1 defective item, using the formula there, 200 combination 1, failure 0.985 to the 199, 0.015 to the 1, and that's 0.1482. If exactly 3 are defective, so 200 combination 3, 0.985 to the 197, 0.015 to the 3, 0.2257. Substitute into the formula 1 minus quantity, 0.04867 plus 1 defective item, 0.1482, 2 defective items, 0.2246 plus 3 defective item, 0.2257, and that's 0.3528. Then problem 21, this came out in CBORD November 2012. Given the sets of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 7, 10, 10, 11, 14, 19, 19, 23, 24, 24, 26, which are already arranged in increasing value, find quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3, and the ratio of the largest item in the second quartile to the average value in the fourth quartile. So these are the numbers already arranged. If you count the number of items, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So we first find the dividing line such that 8 items here, 8 also items there. So this is it. And it is between 10 and 11, therefore quartile 2 is average of 10 and 11, 10.5. There are 8 items here, so this is the division, and it is between 4 and 7, therefore quartile 1 is average of 4 and 7, that's 5.5. This is the dividing line for the right half data. So quartile 3, it is the average of 19 and 23. 19 plus 23 divided by 2, and that's 21. Then for the ratio of the largest item in the second quartile, this is the second quartile, the largest item is 10, and the average of the value in the fourth quartile is simply the sum of this divided by number of items, 4. So 10 over sum of these values divided by 4, and that's 4 times 10, 40 over 97. Problem 22, a bag contains 3 white and 5 black balls. If 2 balls are drawn in succession without replacement, what is the probability that A, both balls are black, B, both are white, C, one is black and the other is white, and D, both have the same color? So for 26, for problem 22A, so this is 22A, just apply 22A. Probability that the first ball is black, then second is black. So there are 5 black balls out of 8, so 5 over 8. For the second pick, it should also be black, so 4 remaining black balls out of 7 remaining balls. So 5 over 14. For 22B, both are white, so white, white. 3 white balls out of 8, then second pick is also white. 2 remaining white balls out of 7 remaining balls, so 3 over 28. 26C, one is black and the other is white. There are 2 cases, so that's why we multiply it by 2. If it is black first, so 5 black balls out of 8, then second should be white. 3 white balls out of 7 remaining balls. So that would be 15 over 28. And finally, both have the same color. So that is the sum of 22A and 22B. So 5 over 14 plus 3 over 28, and that's 13 over 28. 23, in a family of 5 children, what is the chance that there are 3 boys and 2 girls? So probability of success that it is a boy, of course, it's either boy or girl, so 1/2. Probability of failure, so it means it is a girl, then it is also 1/2. Probability in repeated trials, 3 boys, 2 girls. The objective is 3 boys. So it is 5 combination, 3 boys, quantity, probability of failure, girl, 1/2, raised to 5 minus 3, 2, and probability of success, that the child is a boy, 1/2, then raised to 3. That's 5 over 16. Problem 24, in a poker hand consisting of 5 cards, find the probability of holding A, 3 aces, B, 4 hearts, and a club. So for 3 aces, this may be the arrangement, but it doesn't mean that the first of the cards is ace, as long as there are 3 aces here. So probability of favorable outcomes would be, for the 3 aces, it should be from 4, and we do not know the suits. It may be heart, diamond, and club. It may be heart, club, and fault, and so on and so forth. So 4 combination 3, the meaning of that is the 3 aces taken from 4 combination. That's combination because there are 4 spaces, and the aces could be in any position. Then for the remaining 2, that should be chosen from the remaining 48 cards. This 48 here is 52 minus the 4 aces, of course. Then the taken 2 at a time. That is not an ace. So the 2 card should not be an ace card. So 48C2, the total number of outcomes is there are 52 cards and we select 5. 5 cards at random from the 52 cards, 52C5. And computing that, that's 94 over 54,145. Next is 4 hearts and 1 club. The 4 hearts should be chosen from the 13 heart cards, ace to king heart cards, and we only select 4. So 13C4. Then 1 club is also from 13 cards, ace to king, 1. And total number of outcomes is 52C5. And that's 143 over 39,984. Then finally, problem 25, in a high school graduating class of 100 students, 54 studied mathematics, 69 studied history, and 35 studied both mathematics and history. If one of these students is selected at random, find the probability that the student took mathematics or history. The student did not take either of these subjects. The student took history but not mathematics. So remember, we use the Venn diagram here. The first group, circle, mathematics, then this is history. We fill in the one that is common to the 2, and we have here 35 studied both mathematics and history. 69 studied history, so 69 minus 35 is 34. 34 students are exclusive history students. Then 54 studied mathematics. 54 minus 35 is 19. 19 exclusive mathematics students. So the first question, the probability that the student took mathematics or history. Mathematics or history, and that is the sum of these numbers here, 19, 35 plus 34, and there were 100 students all in all, so 19 plus 35 plus 34 over 100, that's 22 over 25. The probability that the student did not take either of these subjects, and it is 1 minus the probability that the students take mathematics or history. So 1 minus this 22 over 25 is 3 over 25. Then the probability that the student took history but not mathematics. History but not mathematics. So this is the exclusive history students, 34, and there are 100 students all in all. So probability is 34 over 100 or 17 over 50. So that's it for this video.